Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from Let's Stay Gamers, and welcome. So today we take a look at another two beautiful ships from the Steam Workshop. Now both of these are designed by Vandal, and they are created from ships from Fractured Space. If you've never played Fractured Space, I'll get a link to a video in the top left hand corner, but it's basically World of Tanks with spaceships, and I thought these ships just really have a lot of design, a lot of inspiration for our own build. So we're going to take a look around them, and we're going to have a look at some of their features as well. So the first ship we're actually looking at here is the Coryphaeus, and I have to say the contrasting with the engine bays, we've got this very exposed sort of engine area where the hydrogen tanks have been painted this orange colour, very sort of rusty, and I like it. I just like how it contrasts with the colour of the ship above. You can see it's actually cocooned the engine bay here in this little wrap of a mixture of semi-constructed blocks that are used to reinforce and make these engines stronger. I guess that's the idea behind it. And as we come at the back, we've got that rear sort of antenna and light, and that massive thruster pack just looks absolutely beautiful. And the creation of these smaller thruster packs, these engine bay cells and the fuel cells, just look really nice, and it's been connected up with this semi-constructed block once again. Now the whole idea of this ship is a bit of a brawler, so we've actually got the reinforced armor layer at the top, and the idea is you'd go head on, and you've got all this armor at the front to absorb the impact. The cockpit itself has this really interesting venting sort of armored blocks that they've placed here at the back. Could be an antenna, could be some sort of radio relay, I don't really know, but the idea of it is very nice, as well as little bits like this where the armor's actually been lifted off the hull, add a bit of space into the design. Very nice, creates a lot of depth into the build itself, and you can see we've got a lot more depth where it's been recessed and ribbed across the different areas. You can see we've got more ribbing in this area as we've used them semi and half blocks to construct. Now the hangar bay itself is nice and cool, and the main reason I'm actually showing two ships is because the interior is very simple, because the interior of the actual ships within Fractured Space you don't really know much about, so you can't really do too much within designing that. But we've got the reactor room up at the front here, we have the hangar bay, as well as a little bit of a cargo storage with multicolored containers, and the fighters do look very similar to the ones in Fractured Space. These whip out when you press one of the keys, and they inflict a little bit of damage, or they can even repair other ships that are around you. Just a really nice idea, different droids and so on. We've got two entrance bays through there into the cargo, and as we come along to the front we've got more ribbon, and I really like the idea of these little antennas that are sticking out on the side here. We've got a simple wheel block with an armor block, something I'm definitely going to have to incorporate into future designs of my own. And you can see how he's just broke up pieces of armor here and just inserted the wheel block to create that little bit more detail, as well as cutting up them catwalks. Just a really great piece of inspiration when you're coming to build this, when you're using them semi-constructed blocks. Now another thing he's done here is he's took the round curved blocks and inserted them so it just flows really nicely into the refineries on the side, as well as some more wheel blocks. And as we come to the front, we've actually got a recessed engine bay, and he's added these little antennas here to create that little bit more of that beautiful sort of effect that we get. Just a really nice ship overall. Now moving over to this ship, this came out on the workshop quite a while ago. This is the Alesh, and in the actual game itself I can't remember if it's a jumper where it has the ability to actually jump around and catch other ships, but he has labeled it as a sort of support ship. And something that I really like about this design is this little bit here. They've put these large wheels and then cut them down, and it just looks so beautiful on the side. It's just something that really immerses you into the design itself. Then at the back we've got the large thruster pack, more semi-constructed blocks for our inspiration. We've got this sort of ribbed area. You can see about both of these designs are very thin, they're very small ships, and that allows for quite a weak interior sort of design preference if you ask me. We've got the bridge up here, we'll go up here, and you can see we've got two cockpits as well as access. Very nice view, just what you need, but very vulnerable cockpit of course. And as we come along the side we've got some more venting. This is a lot more like a Tau sort of ship that you'd see in 40k if you've seen previous designs like that. But in Fractured Space you can see it's got the refineries running down the side, and in that extra little bit of detail. And in here we also have the welders that you could probably bring a fighter in here, quickly weld it up and then fly it out. Just beautiful. As we head down to the bottom we've got the oxygen cells that are extracting oxygen obviously from the solar power. Very nice indeed. And as we come to the front we've got more ribbon adding to that design effect, and he seems to have used a lot of these armor blocks on both his designs as like some sort of solar vents, I don't know, some sort of interesting venting alternative, maybe even an engine, I don't know, but it does look very cool. We've got the side rockets on the side where the rockets would fire out and lock onto a target, and we have two fighters in this hangar bay as well. And this ship is designed by the more Russian faction, so everything's a bit more rusty, red and green, and that's why everything's just like that. And as we come to the front, we've got this 04 panel on the side. Very nice. What he's done here is actually took armor blocks and then placed light armor blocks. So we've got the blast doors and the armor blocks on top. So it recesses the number 4 over the top. Very nice indeed. And then we've got some more refineries to add the detail. And as we come to the front, we have 2 recessed engine bays once again. Really nice. It reminds me of something a little bit from Star Wars, where they were using these as sort of engine bays on the pod races. So some of you may be wondering how this ship handles. Let's give it a little bit of a go. So we've got quite a fast acceleration. What's our turning rate like? We've got quite a good turning rate as well. We can also bank this over very easily. So it seems like it's quite a nifty handling ship. I wonder how the Alesh will actually compare to this. Yeah, this seems like a really good all-around ship. I think it just lacks a little bit of the firepower that the one from Fractured Space actually does. So if I hop back to my spectator and teleport myself over there, you can see the Coryphaeus floating away in the distance. Look at that, it looks beautiful. So comparing the handling to the Coryphaeus, the Alesh seems to have some very similar handling characteristics. It's a little bit more heavy on the turn, what I've noticed, but it seems to work just as well. We can actually rotate and turn it around. These are hydrogen fueled ships, so they'll be running off that direct hydrogen supply. That is a little bit more costly in uranium, but at the same time, ice and other materials on planets are very common. So you could mine a polar sort of ice cap, and you could keep these ships running for absolutely ages. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Some great inspiration in both of these builds, and I'll see